Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
I found my way home across the Grand Mirage. Ever since the
Thank you. Well, hi, this is the Alison Arngrim Show, and I'm Alison Arngrim, and some of you probably know me as Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie. But here on the Alison Arngrim Show, I get to interview the most wonderful people, and we talk about the things that make you feel good, the TV shows that made you feel good, the movies that made you feel good, people who are doing fantastic, amazing things to make the world a better place. And I'm very happy to know I'm actually interviewing someone who I'm a big fan of. Indeed, I am. Yes, you knew her for many, many years on MASH as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan. But she also is an incredible animal activist, actress, stage actress, film actress. She's really an incredible person. She has this marvelous book, which I have a copy of, called Sweetheart, The Watercolor Artistry and Animal Activism of, yes, Loretta Swit. Hello.
Hello?
Did you like that? That's our pretend studio audience. They love you.
There you are. There you are. It sounds sometimes like you go away. So I just sort of check in. Hello?
We had a little sound effects and crazy things there. Well, welcome. Welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. So nice that you wanted to talk to me. It's always fun.
I do. It's incredible. People know that, yes, of course, you're an Emmy award-winning actress, but also, just the number of honors you've gotten for your work with animals. I'm just reading the Global Wildlife Conservation Champion Award by GES Africa Conservation Fund. It would take all night just to put that on the award. But it's just marvelous, the wonderful, wonderful things that you've done. And I admit, it's true. I was just talking to Judy Norton from the Waltons the other night, and we're talking about being on iconic shows. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, we were on Little House of the Waltons, but I was watching MASH. That's what I was watching.
Gotcha, yes. It had a wonderful appeal. We were such a family that families adopted us, so to speak. We're a family show with families. So families now for generations have passed us on and on. So I'm now entertaining great-grandchildren who have children who are watching this show, and they will grow up keep it. And it just is a wonderful, wonderful legacy. Writing was so spectacular.
It was incredible.
The cast, I just love those people to death, and it just everything worked. Everything just came together, and it worked.
It's that crazy thing from that time period. These iconic shows where, I was on Little House on the Prairie, and indeed we're on our 5th generation of viewers. It's just crazy. Meeting these people from other countries, and your show had that kind of thing. I was definitely very attached to your show, and I did. You felt like you knew these people. The characters were so realistic. You said, I've met this person. I know them.
Or I know somebody like her or something like that. But I tell you, I have fan mail that, first of all, I get a lot of mail from women saying they became nurses because of Margaret Houlihan. I get mail like that. But there are some that will break your heart. I have one that I absolutely treasured, and I'll finish the story when I tell you the letter. She came from a broken home. She was a child, and the father was not able, I guess, to provide, and so the mother held down 2 jobs, and she didn't get a lot of quality time with the mother because if she was in school, the mother was home, and then she came home. The mother was working at 2 jobs and so forth. And she writes in this lovely letter, you became my big sister. I thought of you as my big sister, and you saved my life. I would look forward to being with you, and and it just was the most beautiful sentiments. And so I looked her up. I had a return address, and she was listed.
Oh,
and
wow.
I called her, and it was a remarkable experience. Here, she recognized my voice immediately.
Of course.
Can you imagine? But and we had a lovely chat. She became a nurse as well, by the way. And it just is remarkable when it's something so positive. It has such outreach. Television has that power, it just reaches out to millions and millions of people, so that if you have this positive effect, well, it makes you feel really good, that you're doing something worthwhile, as well as being entertaining, which in and of itself is fine. It's great. You make people laugh, make people feel.
But you do something with it. You really embraced it. I mean, people realize, yes, with TV, we're in their living rooms, and people feel they know us. But you really went with it. I mean, how many people, even if they got a great letter they were moved by, would take the trouble to track the person down and call them?
Well, I don't know. I can only speak for me, but it was just a remarkable letter, and I just couldn't resist doing that. And I just it was important for me to tell her what her letter meant to me. There she was writing that, but she needs to know how powerful and how moved I was by our connection. I think that's important. Connection is everything.
And I think that's what we try to do with these kind of shows as actors is to connect. And MASH, you guys really did. I mean, it was the thing about MASH, and I remember watching when I was younger, is realizing that I think that there are many people, they almost lost track. It's like, it was actually about the Korean War. No, it wasn't really about the Vietnam War. But because it started in 72, that's what people tapped into that. Exactly. People tapped into it and said, this has so many parallels, and the things they're talking about are so similar to what's happening in Vietnam and what people were just coming back from. And exactly.
Yeah, it's all hateful and terrible, and we should put our energy into ending all of it. That's that was really the overpowering message. Let's stop doing this. Stop hurting us. Stop hurting each other. Stop, having young men and women go and sew bodies back together that hardly old enough to shave. The whole message was very anti-war, and it could be any war. It didn't matter.
And I think that's why it showed what people went through. It showed the suffering of the poor people who were doctors at the front trying to save people, and how painful that experience would be.
I think I took it a step further with, for example, the way they treated the death of McLean Stevenson's character. It's important for people to realize that a lot of those wonderful people that you fell in love with, that was a character, but you fell in love with McLean as well, and you related to the fact that everybody doesn't come home.
Right.
It's not all, it's not a John Wayne movie where most of them take the hill and, and they go home and they're heroes and so forth. Some did, but, some didn't, and that was not really portrayed the way I think we did. We did it.
No, you did a thing. I remember that was the thing about MASH. Things weren't always okay. It wasn't like you got to the end of the episode, everything was fine. It was not fine.
That's right. There was in the beginning, a wonderful episode for Alan where his old school chum came. He was a writer, I think. He's a correspondent. And he gets wounded badly, and McLean has to take Alan away from the operating table because he's too close. He just grabs him, pulls him away, and he loses his friend, and he's sobbing. And we didn't always get a chance. The audience didn't always get a chance be something like that in a quote sitcom, which I don't think we ever were.
Yeah, I know they always called it a sitcom, and I was like, I don't think that's a sitcom. No.
Well,
that's
because we tend to want to label things. We have to name them and put them in a category, and that's the category we sort of fell into. But if anything, we're a dramedy.
Yeah, now they call these things dramedies.
Sort of like
exactly.
life.
Right. Nowadays it would be a dramedy.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was just.
But I think it was MASH. MASH was like its own category, so to speak.
Right. I think it's influenced a lot of TV. I think a lot of the things that are on now and that are things that are on Netflix and Amazon and the new stuff owes a lot to like the kind of things they did on MASH, where they say, well, we're not fitting in a category. We're going to have things that are funny, but the premise isn't really funny, but we're going to make a show about this. That's a kind of thing that they would not have been able to do had those people not grown up watching MASH.
Well, this is probably a little different for you, but I'd like to talk about something that blew me out of my chair.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix now, and I want to give her. She doesn't need me for a boost. I mean, she is incredible. Her name is Hannah Gadsby.
I've been hearing about this. I've been hearing about her. Yes, yes.
I cannot urge you. Hang up the phone and watch the TV. Put on Netflix. I'm serious. She will blow you out of your chair. She is so magnificent. And she's her own category. She can be very funny, but she will destroy you. I mean, she just tells it like it is. She hits every button. She's so precise. She's so amazing. For example, she talks about comedy as opposed to telling stories. She says comedy takes a setup and a punchline, and a story is a beginning, middle, and an end. And when she's talking about her own comedic career, she says that what I did was make everything a joke, and I would take a story that had a very powerful, happy ending and make it into a joke, and it entertained you, and it worked for me, and it was a funny show and so forth. But what it was doing was traumatizing me internally because I wasn't finishing my story. So she tells the joke, it gets a big reaction, and then later on, after a lot of the fun stuff and sad stuff, she decides to tell her story, and she tells the story of that joke. And I watched it now, I don't know how many times, because I grabbed my friends and I just sit down, you've got to see this, I mean, one of my girlfriends said, Loretta, you're like pulling people up the street. This is ridiculous, But she's amazing.
Okay, well, I have Netflix. I can run home and watch this. I've seen the ads. It keeps coming up on my screen.
The name of the show is Nanette.
Nanette.
But her name is Hannah Gadsby.
That's right.
She's
Hannah.
born in Tasmania, which she talks about at length. But I mean, she's just so brilliant. She's breathtaking. And I don't know how many times I've seen it, and she gets me every time. She's so she's unstudied. She's not, every move is so sincere. Every moment is so filled with her heart and soul. And I want desperately to meet her. And I will. I mean, I'll make a point of trying
Well,
to
she'll
meet
probably
her.
hear this, for God's sakes, and call you after this.
Well, but it was interesting. There was another connection. I once owned a suit, the jacket of which she's wearing.
Really?
I don't know whether, we celebs recycle their clothing.
We do it all the time. Yeah, right? It's like, it's been there.
You have to recycle it because somebody's going to write, is that all she owns? So, or maybe she just bought it off the rack, but it's definitely my jacket. And when I saw it, I thought, oh my God, are we connected or what?
Okay, so I need to call around and get this woman. I need to get her on my show and then have you call in.
Oh, you must.
We're going to try to make this happen. We'll get Hannah on my show and have Loretta call in. That would be awesome.
Oh wow, yes. That would be.
And then we can find out if that's your jacket as well, because that's hysterical.
And I'll
oh my
ask her
God.
about my jacket. Yes. It's very beautiful. It's like midnight blue, and it's a tuxedo jacket. The
Oh, I want
lapels
one.
are like a deep purple blue, shiny fabric, like satin or something. And I bought the pantsuit. The pants had a stripe of satin down the side, but she wears them with different. She wears it with different trousers. But the minute I saw that jacket, I thought, "My
That's
God,
crazy.
I can't believe this." But she, her whole thing is about connection and about not being alone and caring for each other and supporting each other and not letting her story die. Help me keep my story, because my story is your story and your story is my story. I mean, she will devastate you.
I got to watch this. I've been reading more and more about you, and as I said, big fan of yours. And I was amazed. I saw it was a recent other interview you did talking about that when you came in, when you quote auditioned for MASH, you didn't do a traditional audition, and that you didn't really know this was happening. You were off shooting Hawaii 5-0, and suddenly this thing came in from left field. Like, it was bizarre.
And I remember my agent said, "Have you seen the film?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh God, wonderful. Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter." He said, "They have no script. You don't have to read. It's really a meet and hello and greet.
Wow.
And, they're looking you over, whatever. At a certain point, they assume you have talent and you're going to deliver. So that's how that came about. And then afterwards, when I was taken for the role, I had no reason to see the film. There was no reason for me to then go and see a film and be influenced one way or the other about
Right.
it.
Would you feel that would be weird? Like, you'd be too much of seeing, like, okay, well, I don't want to see how she did it because it gets too in your head for your character.
Well, immediately I was told the series was more like the book, and the movie was not.
Okay.
I didn't care. All I cared about was doing my job. So, but very often people will say, in an interview, I'll say, "I never saw the movie." You're kidding? No, I never had any need to. Once I was doing the series, why would I watch another version? So I never did.
Well, the TV show kind of had its own reality. It was different from the movie. It's like with Little House.
I guess so.
A lot of the cast of Little House had never read the books. I didn't get the books till after I was on the show. So we were all sort of going, well, I guess we're doing this version. It's just like, the books are over there. They're cute, but we're not doing those. We're not doing that.
Exactly.
So you've just been incredible. And now, of course, you're doing the theater thing. You're doing. You did 6 dance lessons in 6 weeks last year, right?
Yeah. I did that several times.
I love that show.
And I'm probably going to be doing another small tour of a different play, but one that I love just as much, and it's called Me and Jezebel.
Me and Jezebel? Okay, I like it already.
Yes,
I'm in. What's it about?
Yes, you would, because the author, when writing it, wanted a man to play Betty Davis. So Jezebel, of course, is the euphemism for Bette Davis. And I play this little Connecticut housewife whose house guest is Betty Davis. And she's such a fan. She's a relentless fan, which is very funny in itself. She's just tripping over herself. But Bette, as you will recall, was quite a piece of work. And it turns out that there's a strike, and she's stuck with her house guest for a long time, and her husband is ready to leave. Anyway, it's very funny and very touching.
And no, wait, you're playing Betty Davis in this? Are you playing the Betty Davis one, or are you the mad fan?
No. A man always.
Oh, so it's a guy plays Betty, and you're
Davis,
playing the beloved, the mad, crazy fan. This is so crazy because I'm off to do a play. Actually, next month I'm doing Always Patsy Cline, where I'm playing the rather mad fan of Patsy Cline. It was just I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard such good things about it. It's a good piece, isn't it?
Where are you? Oh, it is. Where are you doing Me and Jezebel? Because I want to see this.
Oh, well, I'll let you know, because I think we're going to begin in Las Cruces, and then I think it's gone out one from into one ear and out the other. I think Denver was mentioned. I think back to Buffalo was mentioned.
Oh, great!
So
it's going to be all over.
I don't really know yet.
Okay, but we can keep an eye out for this. We'll put this up on the web and make sure everybody knows where you are. Okay, this is good.
Make no mistake, Harlan will keep
Harlan
you
will make sure
posted.
everyone knows. I'll make sure everyone knows. This will be good. So
Right,
now
right.
you did this book, and I did go. There was that thing at the Hollywood Museum where we had a big opening about the book, and I got a copy and everything. Sweetheart, the watercolor artistry and animal activism, and it's just gorgeous. But I was reading that
Thank you.
you've been painting since you were a child.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh,
I think at that point in time, I probably thought of it as doodling, but I did always, sketch and draw and made posters, and I was 6 years old.
regular kid
But
art. Yeah.
there was this contest that I read about, and I begged my mother to submit my drawing, and I won. I mean, it was like nothing. It was an advanced stick drawing or something.
Is this
But
like the draw
it
this thing on the
certainly was.
matchbook kind of deal?
Well, I haven't seen those in years,
Gonna
but
say it's like this.
it was maybe not even as sophisticated as that.
But
But it
you
was
won.
a simple drawing. But I don't know how simple it was because I did win. So, but I've always loved it. I've always loved playing around with color and drawing. So, but I never thought of it as a career thing, or I mean, I just did it for my pleasure. And a dear friend of mine, Madeline Rue, did study art for a long time. She didn't have an inkling that I was doing sketches and so forth. And we were having dinner one night. I picked her up, and she was running late. So as a joke, she handed me one of her sketchbooks, and she says, "Here, amuse yourself. I'll be a minute." And she went and she got dressed, and I drew a sketch, and she came out, and I gave it to her, and she said, "I hate you. How did you do this? You just did this?" She said, "I had no idea. She said, "I'm studying for years, and you just did this." She was so impressed. And so it was through her that I got impressed. It was like, I thought everybody could do that. To me, it was just like, that's what I did.
You had no
And,
idea. You had no idea how good
I
you
had
were.
no idea it was special. I had no idea that everybody didn't just did it. I can't explain it. You only know what you know. There's that old joke of this man going into the doctor's for a checkup, and the doctor said, "Well, what happens? What's bothering you?" He said, "Oh, nothing." He said, "I just feel maybe I could feel a little better. I don't know." He said, "Well, fine, we'll check you out. So tell me about like how you spend your day." And he says, "Well, I get up, I shower, I throw up, I have a little breakfast." He said, "Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about every day." "Oh," he said, "okay, well, I get up, I shower, I throw up, I have a little breakfast." He said, "Wait a minute." He says, "You mean you throw up every day?" And the man looked at him and said, "Well, yeah, doesn't everybody?" So you only know what you know. If
think
he
it's-
lived alone, that was his experience. To him, that was natural. For me, I just would rather do that than go out and play with the kids, jump rope or whatever. I wanted to sketch and draw and color, and and that held my interest. So then that's all I know. But through the years, it was fun to now look back, and especially with the book, to see how my paintings have improved and grown, and because I'm self-taught, and that's another reason I never gave myself any credit for advancement. I just did it. And now I look back, I look at the cover of Sweethearts, and I'm so impressed. There's such depth in that dog's eyes. He's a Bidawee rescue, and I just love him, and I just love. It's like looking into his heart, and I did that. I look at it, I said, "My God, that's wonderful," and so I've come to appreciate how far I've come with my own work.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, it's so crazy because, yeah, your pictures are beautiful and you have just no idea because you're just busy doing them. It didn't even, occur to you.
It never occurred. That's right. It never occurred to me.
And what you're doing for
really putting it well.
animals, I mean, so much. I mean, as I said, you have dozens and dozens of awards, what with the Actors and Others for Animals and all these different organizations. And I see this has been going on for quite some time. And now the book. How did you get started and decide to dedicate yourself to making things better for animals?
I can't remember a time when I didn't care about animals. When I was like a tot in my little carriage, I'd see a dog and I'd blow like a little balloon. Doggy, 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 doggy. My parents were like afraid I was going to like burst or something. But I have always loved animals and had a feeling about how somebody should take care of them, and if nobody else was doing it, I was going to do it, and if I could do it, I was going to get everybody else to do it. I don't know, I just I'm looking right now at my little Yorkie who's snoozing on a chair here, and she's so precious and so dear, and we give each other unconditional love. And then there's this little, I call it her pink palace. My Siamese is all snuggled into this. It's a cushion, but it's covered, and it's bright pink. It's so her. She's such a diva. It's so her, and she's snuggled inside this little pink igloo, sort of. And their presence fills me with such pleasure and such love.
Were they rescues?
And oh yeah, that's a breed as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
That's the only breed that I rescue.
Yeah, our little black cat. Well, she's not that little anymore. Morticia was like having a panther in the house. She's just she's one of those black Bombay cats with the gold eyes and the black. And when we got her fur stuck out in different directions. We weren't sure if she was going to be pure black or gray because she was a rescue and she's like a little malnourished. She'd been abandoned and they'd taken her in and fixed her up. Yeah. And then she turned into this huge, gigantic, shiny black cat. So so she's spoiled
and
rotten.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Spoiled rotten. Just and you find yourself spoiling them.
Morticia, I love it.
Yeah, we should see her. But I think I think that it makes sense, animal rescues. But when my friends who also have rescue pets and everything, there seems to be a bond that animals. I mean, they understand in some sense that they were taken in, and you're the person who's helped them. That they were on the street, and so there's definitely a connection there.
Especially if all they've known before that is abuse or neglect, or then you have somebody who's showering them with love and kisses, and you bet they know it. I just love them. I do everything I can.
Now you work with multiple organizations that are helping animals, though. You have
yes, lots there. I'm happy to say I've watched the progress. Over the years, more and more people being aware and caring and forming groups or joining groups, or it's totally wonderful. Yeah, we've come a long way, baby.
Well, now the wildlife conservation one. Now that's helping animals in other countries. That's worldwide.
That's right. Yeah, but a lot of the organizations here have that kind of outreach. You're going to help. It's global. If you care, it's for everything and everybody. And so, yes, many of the organizations go far afield. I've done a lot of work in Canada. I used to fly out to talk against the seal hunt and blah, blah, blah. Just all animals, not just one, just all animals have a right to a life of dignity on our planet, and we just have to keep fighting to make sure we ensure that.
Well, I think they improve our lives, as you've said, that we have a connection with them. And I think that
Yes, they do.
understandably, just by being human, we kind of take up a lot of space on the planet, even if we're not trying to, and we're going to take up a lot of room. And I think we have an obligation to sort of make up for that and make room for the animals.
Of them. Absolutely, of course, we're obliged to do that. Right now, and animals, I have trouble separating the human animal from animal. I mean, to me, we're all bonded. And right now, our main thrust at Sweethearts is to get involved in bringing back the canine teams from Afghanistan. You know, if the human handler is wounded or killed, worse, the dog is sometimes left behind.
Oh, no.
Well, sure. And there's a great expense to bring them in. You're recording this, aren't you?
Oh, actually, we are live.
Pause?
Can we pause
live.
and hang on and you can just tell them to call? You'll call them back.
I will.
Sure, go for it. We'll pause for you. We are pausing for a moment while Loretta Swit tells someone, hey, I'm on a phone interview. Because this happens to me all the time. I wind up on a phone interview when somebody calls in and I go, I'm on the phone. She's back already.
Oh, yeah. It was one of my crises today. It was an exciting, interesting day. I had a little friend got lost in the airport.
Oh, no.
So that was my driver saying, we got her. Okay.
Good.
So,
So these animals, these military dogs, they don't bring them back?
Oh, well, this is what we're working on. Now, let's say that happens. Let's say, in fact, the Marine that I met and his dog, he lost both legs. It was a night action, which the dog was not participating in. So he was sent home, and he was totally committed to Harley. And so he worked on getting his dog back. It took him 7 months, and he said it was the most painful time, and you say, well, losing your legs was pretty painful. And he's still saying the most painful time was waiting to be rejoined with Harley. And I had a friend tell me they saw the reunion, and Harley just jumped into his arms, and the bond is just so thick and precious. So that's a happy story. We want to make all the stories happen like that. So let's say the dog has to finish a tour of duty and he loses his handler. So he's not shipped back, and he's given to another handler, and they bond. And so he stays in Afghanistan. In some cases, it's going to take a while to get another handler, and they don't. So what we'd like to do is match them up with somebody here and bring them back. Or maybe their tour of duty is close to being over, and just get them back, bring them back. Now, there are a lot of levels to this program.
Right.
It's not just returning them, which is very expensive, you can imagine. But you have to go into quarantine. Then the next level is to treat them for PTSD,
because the dog is going to have PTSD.
Like
yeah,
their
right.
handlers, absolutely.
They've been in war,
so they need to. Yes, they need to be re-socialized, and they need to conquer all of these fears and the noise alone. Just so. Then the next step is to unite them with a vet, perhaps, who's looking for a military dog, or another handler who just wants to retire with that dog. Or there are so many stories. So we match them up. When I say we, this is the program that's ongoing that I want to be a part of. They're matched up, and they're sent to another place for 3 weeks to work together and become a team. So there are many levels to this, and it's all pretty expensive. So basically, what do you do, Loretta? I try to raise money. And the big deal is to get the information out there. People care, and give parties, banquets, book signings, or whatever,
right.
and tell people where their money is going, and that's kind of what I'm all about.
Well, I think, I mean,
what we're doing.
incredible match. I'm thinking of all the vets who come back who themselves have PTSD, and I know that people have therapy dogs. So, I mean, I would think this would be a great match,
Absolutely.
one of these dogs with one of these guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, as I said, there's so many levels, so many stories, and so many wonderful ways to continue to be equal and happy and again, serene, live out a life with dignity. After what they've done for us,
right.
We have all to do for them, and that's how it works.
Now, what is this one called, and how do we get you money? What is this one called? Where do we go on the web to write a check now for this? Oh my God!
It's SwittHearts Animal Alliance,
and that's SWITHEART, SwittHeart Animal
Alliance. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can look that up.
You can order a book at SwittHearts, or you can. It's on Amazon. I don't know if they have any more right now. I have to get more to them, but it's easy to just drop a note to SwittHearts Animal Alliance. I'd like to donate, or what we want to do is keep people posted. This is what your money did today. Your money is going towards bringing 2 dogs back next month. And this is how we're doing it, just so people know their money's not going down some rabbit hole.
Right.
I mean, there are certain organizations, they're very fine, I'm sure, but all they do is say, they're on the border of extinction, give money and all. Well, that's fine, but I want to know, what have you done to preserve, I don't know, the saber-toothed tiger? I don't know. I want to know what. Just tell me so that I know you're using my money for good,
Right, and
I don't want my money to go into making a sweet little film about the elephants that I know about. I know all about that. What are you doing about the poaching?
Right.
Tell me if my money's going towards hiring guards to stop the poaching. Or, you know what I'm saying.
Right, and you want to see how many cents of every dollar go to the thing, and you want to know that it's working.
People, and they're very involved. That way they know they're involved with this wonderful task, and they can be proud of what they're doing.
Well, I love this, and I think I can get you hooked up with I'm president of the board right now of the National Association to Protect Children, or protect.org, and we have a program involving wounded veterans and also dogs, and it's a whole thing, and retraining veterans through our Hero Corps program to work with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, to work with the police, and it's all fabulous and brilliant and complicated, but indeed it's the same thing with people coming back with PTSD and being wounded and whatnot, and looking for a new career, and it's just amazing stuff. So we're helping veterans and helping children who are being abused all at the same time.
There is, for example, a program called ARF.
ARF? It is called ARF, ARF, ARF.
ARF, yeah, ARF, yeah, which is ironic. ARF, Animal Rescue ARF Foundation.
Right.
I have a picture of a vet kneeling beside a rescue dog that ARF has put him together with. And he is, and this is a quote, "Thanks to ARF, when the demons come at night, I'm not alone anymore." And it really chokes me up. And he's this big, bulky guy. He looks like a Marine, and this dog and he have found each other, and they're not alone anymore. You'll get a lot of that. I keep going back to Hannah Gadsby. She talks about not feeling alone. That's why connection plays such a big part in her routine when she's talking to you about sharing and connecting. And you know what we should do? I would love this if you're game.
I probably am.
Watch. Yes, I know you probably are. Watch her special.
I will.
And then let's do another show together.
Okay.
Could we do that?
We can completely do that.
Because it is so in harmony with everything you and I are talking about. It's like, for me, the book with my paintings. My paintings is a passion, but so are my animals. The world, they're my animals, and all these passions come to fruition in the one book, which is now raising money to rescue canine teams, men and women and dogs who are teams and bonded. And it's all, again, I go back to the connectivity. And that's really what we're all talking about.
And it is. It's the not being. It's the not being alone. It's people feel alone, so alone in this world.
Yes,
I mean, there's millions of people around them, but they're alone, and that's what's killing people. It's terrible.
Like this says, when the demons come at night, I'm not alone anymore. They have each other. I now just recently, and I've connected with the guide dogs of Israel. Well, they found me, and I did a painting for them, and they made $1,000, I think, at auction, and so we kept in touch. They now are starting a program for military dogs and actually rescue animals that have been trained to aid to help veterans with PTSD.
Perfect.
Now, they sent me a video of a vet having a nightmare, and his dog, very gently climbing on top of him and easing him out of the nightmare. And they're training animals to do that. And I mean, how can you not be moved by this? How can you not care about a program like that? So I'm reconnected with them. And the lady who put them in touch with me to begin with, I'm going to ask her if we can't do some sort of banquet, fundraiser, talk about it, show the video. And there won't be a dry eye in the house. I mean, it's just so wonderful what we give each other, the animals and the human animals, and bonding. I was at Ground Zero. I lived in New York during 9/11, and I worked at Ground Zero and at the Javits Center, feeding people who came, from all over our country. And the Brotherhood of Man was palatable. There were no strangers. We were family. The entire world, really, but certainly all of New York, we were family. And it just was overwhelming, loving, breathtaking. And if we could always only have that, if we didn't need a catastrophe of losing 3,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, if we didn't need a reminder of what could happen if we don't have that connection, if we don't have that family, if we always had that, they wouldn't have war. Nobody would want more than they have. They would have everything they need. They would have everything they want, because they were connected. But that's why you really need to see Hannah, and then you will laugh, and when you're watching her, you will hear Loretta. You'll say, "Oh, that's what Loretta was saying. That's what Loretta meant."
I would do like a whole hour after that. But see, that's, I think this is one of the many reasons I like you. This is what you value the relationships and lives of human beings and animals over just things and stuff.
Well, yeah.
To put it simply.
I confess, you got me. You caught me red-handed. But it's a blessed way to spend your life, supporting somebody else, helping somebody else, and there's nothing that will make you feel more blessed, I think, than I don't want to sound preaching, but doing good and helping, and there's nothing like that reward. It's a reward in itself, far better than any prize or paycheck, or to feel fulfilled in that way. That that's why I'm here.
Well, and I think
why I'm here
too. When it's animals and children who can't help themselves, who aren't in a position to speak out, it's even more so.
Right. That's right. And it's more than an obligation. It's a passion to reach out and help them. Why wouldn't we? Why? Well, of course we should and would and will. and do. I think I conjugated the whole.
I think you
verb.
got them all. Now, earlier, it's funny because when I called you and we're setting up the show, you mentioned Susan Hayward.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
you did Maine with her
interview.
in Las
did,
Vegas in
yeah.
like 1960. Blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah.
right.
Yes.
It was maybe 70. No, wasn't the 70s.
It was like 68 or 9 or
maybe
something
69,
crazy.
70,
Yeah.
something like that, because it was before MASH.
Right,
I was
way
not
back.
doing MASH, as I recall. And, we fell in love. I adored her. And she was a tiny little thing, and she would look up at me. I'm, 5'6", and she'd call me her little gooch. I played Agnes Gooch.
You're doing Agnes
Hey,
Gooch.
little gooch, you want to go out? You want to get a burger or whatever? And she was so special. God, I just loved her. She retired in Florida, very happy marriage, and they had a boat, and she said she would write me notes and sign them Captain Bligh.
The idea, Susan Hayward as pirate.
Yeah, right. Yes, my friend the pirate. But she was really very, very special to me. I really and tough, so resilient, so tough. She had a brain tumor when she accepted the role, and she accepted the role because she wanted to work and take her mind off her problems, her troubles, and put her energy into extending her life, which she did, by the way, by 2 years. The doctors said, oh, yeah. 2 years later, she was thumbing her nose at everybody because there she was. But she worked hard, and she was really a delicious person. I adored her.
All right, now what's the next show you're doing? You're doing the Jezebel one?
I think I'm doing Jezebel, but there's also, I'm reading a script right now, and I have a movie coming out. It's called a faith movie. I don't know if you're familiar with the genre. It's I don't mean schmaltzy. I mean it's a good script, but interwoven. You have people who feel blessed or believe in a higher power, believe in God, and they're good people, and they get results from their faith. And,
nice.
Inspiring movies, yeah.
This is what I like. People
now.
are doing cool things like this. And what are you reading now?
Well, it's right here, and I just started it. It's Home of the Brave, it's called, and it's about it's actually about a whistleblower.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, and it's what she did to help veterans. So it's I'm the military keeps circling around.
I sense a theme.
I will forever be a major, whether I like it or not. So
all right,
that's okay. I outrank most of them. So
you are the
okay.
major.
I'll settle for major.
We can find you online. There's a Loretta Swit website.
There probably is. I don't use it, but my SwittHeart Animal Foundation, or just SwittHeart, SwittHearts.com will get you.
Very good.
Or Harlan. Ask Harlan.
I'll always ask. Harlan can always be found. But if you look up
we've
SwittHeart,
gone
you find the website right away.
Yeah. With the book, we've come through a few transitions about where we should, how we should address it. And I also am eager to hook up with American Humane, who's been doing such remarkable work about the canine teams. So I may, if I hook up with them, the donations may go straight to them or through me to them or whatever. I don't know. So we're kind of in the process of working that out. I want to hook up with ARF because I think what they're doing with the dogs who are returned, rescue animals that are being trained to help vets, I love their program.
That's great.
So I'm just sort of working for all of them, so that we're doing the same thing. We're on the same page.
Hardly busy at all.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm looking for a hobby.
Well, I'm so glad you came on, and we have to have you back. We have to have you back for like another whole
please
hour.
do.
But I have to watch the Nanette special. I have to watch Hannah now, so we can talk about this for an hour.
Listen, you'll thank me forever. I'm serious. You may just call me back tomorrow and say, "Oh my God, Loretta."
I got to get her on the
is-
show now too.
There's yes, and that's the next step. I have a word for her. She is magnificent.
Awesome.
She is a
Check her out.
magnificent human being that needs to be heard. She's so honest and sincere, so touching. Her mannerisms, there's nothing phony about her. There's not a move that she makes on that stage. And by the way, it's filmed at the Sydney Opera House. Which
Oh, wow,
is
that's right.
Filled. It's filled. And they're like roaring in adoration. You really must get a hold of her because she is an inspiration. I just really would love to meet her and talk to her, but you really would have one hell of an interview.
I think Harlan's probably calling her now. As I like, can you come on the show?
As we speak.
As we speak, Harlan's like going, quick, give me this woman's number. Well,
I
thank
immediately
you for
told
coming
Harlan
on.
about
We're
her.
going to send everybody to the
Oh,
website.
honey,
We're going to make
thank
sure they
you so
donate and that they
much.
get into what you're doing because you're so wonderful. You're so
It's
wonderful.
fun. It's been fun as usual, and we'll talk soon again.
Excellent. I'm having you on again. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's been Loretta
Bye
Swit.
for now.
And bye-bye. And this has been the Alison Arngrim Show with Alison Arngrim.